What's up guys, Doomweek here, and welcome to another Modern video on the channel. Before we continue, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. So today we're going to be playing some Bring to Light Scapeshift here. This is a deck that I have played in the past. I'm a pretty big fan of this deck. I really enjoy that it's a good ramp deck. It has some really good ramp payoffs. It has good engines like Wrenn and Teferi and things like that. And Bring to Light can be your end game, it can be your mid game, and it's a really flexible card. It can get Omnath, can get Supreme Verdict, Scapeshift just to end the game. Sometimes you get Dryad with it. So it has a lot of utility and there's some good stuff going on. So at its core, this deck is a ramp deck. We're using Arboreal Grazer and Dryad of Elysian Grove to sort of jump the curve a little bit. We have Wrenn and Teferi to help facilitate the Grazer and the Dryad, because Grazer and Dryad require you to have additional land drops. Sometimes you don't have enough lands in your hand, and Wrenn really helps with that. Iteration also really helps with that, because it's basically a 2-for-1. You can put the land in your hand, you can exile a spell, or vice versa. So Iteration is really powerful in a deck that is looking to hit all of its land drops. And we have Prismatic Ending, just one of the best removal spells in the format, not much to say here. The other thing that Bring to Light gets is Valki. So Valki, God of Lies, Tibalt, Cosmic Imposter, I'll expand it here because it's hard to see over there. But basically, if you Bring to Light for X equals 2, so if you pay 5 mana for the Bring to Light, even if you only have blue, green, and 3 colorless, right, you can still get Tibalt, Cosmic Imposter, and you can cast the Tibalt off of the Bring to Light. So it's a powerful interaction. Think of it's basically turns Bring to Light into a 5 mana planeswalker that doesn't take very long to end the game, because Tibalt is a very powerful planeswalker. So that's another aspect of Bring to Light, which is really awesome. It's a very Time Raveler, just a very powerful card. Also, really nice with Bring to Light because you can hold up instant speed Bring to Light, which can really mess with people, especially in combination with Supreme Verdict. And, something else once we get to the sideboard, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then rounding out everything with Omnath, because it's just a really good ramp payoff. We're playing 4 colors. Well, actually, we're playing 5 colors, but it's just a really powerful ramp payoff. Makes a lot of sense. And just a ridiculous card when you're playing with fetch lands and Wrenn and Teferi. Also, Dryads to help you hit more land drops and Grazers and stuff like that. The mana base is definitely the weakest part of this deck, because we are essentially a 5-color deck with 4 Valakut the Molten Pinnacle. Now, I've seen other lists play less than 4 Valakuts. I think it makes a lot of sense to play the full 4 copies when you're playing with Dryad of Elysian Grove, because there are just a lot of games where you hit your land drops up the curve, you have a Dryad, you just draw. It's like when you draw Dryad plus Valakut together, you can sometimes just end the game without even having to cast any other spells. You just play a Dryad, and maybe you draw a Valakut or 2 and a couple fetch lands, and all of a sudden your opponent just is dead, because that's how powerful the Dryad Valakut interaction is. So I do think it is worth playing 4 Valakuts, even though you have to, you lose a little bit of percentage points in your mana base for sure. We got 3 Ketria Triumphs, 2 Rogran Triumphs, and a Savai Triumph. The reason we're playing so many Triumphs is because we need to be able to have enough mountains for the games we don't have Dryad. So with Scapeshift, the way that it works is when you cast Scapeshift, you need at least 7 lands in play. You need to have, let's assume you don't have a Dryad. You need to have a Valakut and 6 mountains in your deck off of the Scapeshift. So you need to make sure that you always have access to enough actual mountains for the games you don't have Dryad. Now, obviously, when you have Dryad, it makes everything easy, because Dryad makes everything a mountain, so you don't need the mountain count, because all of your lands are mountains anyways. But you always want to make sure you have enough in your deck for those games you need to Scapeshift and not have a Dryad. So that's why we're playing so many Triumphs. And then we have a Sacred Foundry, a Steam Vents, and a Stomping Ground as well. And then a bunch of fetch lands, a couple shock lands. Not too much else worth noting there, but just like that, the Triumph count and the number of Valakuts, I think, are the most important parts of the mana base there. And then moving on to the sideboard, the other cool thing about Bring to Light is it allows you to play some sweet one-ofs in the sideboard. So we have, for example, a Fury, card that is very powerful in certain spots, but a card you don't always want to draw. A Crumble to Dust, similar thing, really good in certain matchups, certain spots. Anger of the Gods, and Unmoored Ego. These are kind of like our package deal. They're obviously good against different strategies, and it's one of those things where you don't always want to draw it, but having access to it is really important. So you essentially have 5 copies of it because you get to play Bring to Light, but you don't get you don't have to dilute your deck and draw multiple copies of this, because especially with Crumble and Unmoored Ego, it's usually when you resolve the first copy of this card, the game usually just ends there. So you don't need to draw a second one. So you get to have all 5 copies, but you don't actually have the downside of drawing a second one. So that's really cool. Unfortunately, BTL can't get Planeswalkers, but we do have an Ashiok here, just because it's a really powerful card. There's a lot of graveyard strategies. There's still Amulet Titan rolling around, so just a very powerful effect to have access to. And then the rest of the sideboard, we got 2 Chalices, mostly here for, Grixis Death Shadow and decks that have a lot of 1-drops, Hammer Time, that kind of stuff. Veil of Summer for Grixis Shadow and Control. Endurance, which is really here for Dredge and Mill. The Mill matchup is really tough, so we need to play it. Endurance is definitely necessary. Force of Vigor here for Hammer Time and other Urza Saga decks, and then rounding out Mystical Dispute for Control and those kinds of things. So that's the deck list. I am, again, I love this deck. I really, really enjoy playing the Bring to Light Scapeshift deck, and I think this is going to be pretty enjoyable for y'all. So without further ado, I will see you back here in just a little bit for round number 1. This thing's kind of loose, but I want to play, so. Rag, Solitude, Wrenn. Yeah, Rag, Solitude, Wrenn, Fury, Teferi. Even Karn's like kind of expensive. There's so many expensive cards. You get 4 of all of them. That's got to be at least 4K, right? Could probably run the numbers on it, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Tron. I'm glad that I added an Unmoored Ego to my sideboard. Alright, we're going to get dumpstered because I kept the slow hand against Tron, but I think it's over 5K if it's 4 whole sets. Yeah. Some of the prices on Magic Online are a lot higher than paper, too. I mean, the fetch lands, it kind of offsets with the fetch lands, because the fetch lands on Moto are basically worthless. But, IRL fetch lands are, worth a lot more. But, like, shit like Ragavan is more online, Teferi's more online, stuff like that. Okay, I can probably beat that, right? To get a White Saurus, I think I'm just going to get a... Honestly, kind of want to just get a Plains. I can maybe beat that, depending on what their follow-up is. Yeah, in paper. Yeah, all of the ones that were in Modern Horizons 2 are pretty cheap, because there's just so much of that product going around. So the fetches that are in MH2 are definitely a lot cheaper. They had nothing? I wonder if they have Mog, but they just didn't have enough mana for Mog. Do I have any shot at killing them? So I have 9 mana. Oh, I just have lethal, right? BTL for Dryad, play extra land, play Scapeshift. I just have lethal, right? Because I have 9 mana, and it's 5 for this, 4 for this. Yeah, I just have lethal. Alright, cool. Dope. They could have Dismember. I can't play around Dismember, right? I think I have to go for it. Omnath is unfair. I don't think I'm going to play around Dismember. Fuck it. Alright, so Bring to Light. Get Dryad. Yeah, no, I don't think I can play around it. I mean, I could get Tibalt and Minus, but if I get Tibalt and Minus and they have Ulamog, it's really bad, right? Oh, that's true. They probably would have killed the Omnath if they had Dismember, right? Yeah, that's a good point. That is a valid point. They probably would have killed the Omnath. They've conceded from the game. They could have also had Warping Whale, I guess, but, I mean, I can't play around that, right? Okay, so Ego's good. I think Force is good. Crumble's good. Is that it? I think Chalice is decent on the play, but probably not on... Even on the play, it's not that good, right? Definitely not in the draw. Ashiok stops Sylvan Scrying in map. I don't know if that's good enough, though. The list is from... I found a list from the top 32 of the challenge. And that's where I copied it from. Verdict is definitely bad. Teferi's not great either, right? I guess Teferi bounces Wormcoil, but I don't really care about Wormcoil that much, right? Maybe I want the Ashiok over the Teferi. Dispute maybe better than Grazer. I kind of like Grazer because you have to be really fast in this matchup. Yeah, Ashiok, especially like even on the play, it doesn't even stop map when you want it to. So it like doesn't even really count at stopping their 1 and 2 mana plays. Maybe just play like 1 Dispute and this is okay. I could also trim an Ending, but Ending is good on the play. Or Ending is a lot, well, it's just good for killing their turn 1 play. So having 4 of them, having all 4 of them is really important because you like kind of need it in your opening hand for it to be good. I think this is okay. I'm gonna try this. I'm not convinced of the 1 Dispute, but I think it's better than playing like a random Teferi. I mean, I'm not gonna mulligan turn 2 Ego, right? I'd be a crazy person to mulligan a turn 2 Ego. Is this a good hand, chat? Somebody tell me if this is a good hand. Grazer is... Okay, well... I guess we drew too many sideboard cards, huh? I guess we drew too many sideboard cards. If they don't play a Tron land, I could just ego the Arns, right? Okay, well, they've conceded from the game. Little did they know, they had no shot anyways. But, you know. People have asked me that, Torborg. I would love to do that, but I'm not going to do it with the bug, because it just doesn't make any sense. It's not, well, it's not going to be 6 card, bro. It's going to be more like 4 or 5. Because it's going to be 8 to 5, and then... I'm working from home, so it's not going to be that difficult for me to transition from, like, logging off to work and logging into stream. But, so probably start time around, like, 5:30 or 6, and then try to go for, like, at least 4 hours. And then have, like, an hour to myself before I go to bed. Because I'm going to wake up at 7, so... I mean, even if I go to bed at midnight and sleep for 7 hours, that's fine. Can I run a prediction if Walrits be fixed in the next 5 years? I can't run a 5-year-long prediction, though. You know? So how is, I don't know how that's gonna work. Oh, if they fix the bug? Yeah, I'd be into it if they fix the bug. What's up, Abe? Had to come over from raid stream to... Way too fucking quiet over there. Welcome, Abe. Oh no, I can't beat my own Grazer. How am I gonna beat my own Grazer? How am I going to beat... I mean, I probably should Prismatic Ending it, right? Oh no, oh no. I don't want to play a second Valakut, because if I draw Omnath, I can't cast it on curve, so... I'm just gonna do this. The Spellshift bug has only been a thing for 611 days now. 611 days. Well, isn't the bug with the green card and not Spellshift? Isn't the bug with Primal Surge specifically? Or am I thinking of a different thing? Because I thought there was a bug with Primal Surge. Yeah. Where it's like, with Primal Surge, it like doesn't allow you to... I'm gonna fetch my Triumph before they hit it. I guess I have more than one of each Triumph, but yeah, the bug is it doesn't like what is it? What exactly does Primal Surge read? Primal Surge. Yeah, so for some reason, Primal Surge will like just randomly not resolve or like not finish resolving, and it's completely random every time. Like there's no rhyme or reason as to, you know what I mean? It's just complete random weirdness. Should I bounce my own Grazer? If I bounce Grazer, they can just kill Teferi. But if I plus, they attack Teferi for 2, then I can bin Teferi to bounce the Grazer and have a blocker for the Ragavan. I'm going to plus this turn, I think. Plussing, I guess, is worse against Unholy Heat, maybe, but... It's precisely wherever Spellshift was that it fits. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I gotcha. So it's not completely random. It only has to do with Spellshift. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's such a weird bug. Because we actually did play. I didn't know about the bug, and somebody submitted a donation deck list, and I was just like, yeah, okay, we'll just do it. And then we played the donation league, and like sometimes it bugged out and sometimes it didn't. It was just so like it was so random, you know. Would it make more sense to play a Yorion version of this deck with the elementals? Possibly. The cool thing about Yorion and BTL is you're drawing Valakut less often. Like, as you can see here, drawing these Valakuts has been super awkward. So drawing those less often is pretty good, but... Right, a Spellshift is like your last card or something. So we still know they have a Ragavan. I hope they don't have a burn spell, because I really want to bounce my own Grazer. I think they do, though. Yeah. They also could hit Delirium here. That would suck. I mean, even if they don't, I still can't mount minus my Teferi. I do get to kill both of these, which is not horrible, but... they still have an uncontested Ragavan. Okay, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. So I can double spell. I can... What happens if I go Tef, bounce my Grazer, Misty for Temple Garden, play second Tef, and then play the Grazer? They have 2 Channelers and a Ragavan, and I have a Tef on 5? Oh, no, because I can kill a Channeler, right? Because I get to go... No, because I only get to play Teferi and one of the other 2 spells. Can I donate a Battle of Wits deck? That one I meant to say no on. What do we like here? I think I'm definitely minusing Teferi on Grazer. And I think I'm just going to go Tef uptick and then play the Grazer. I think I like that. I think I like that play. What's up, Balana? Okay, so I have to get Temple Garden, right? Because... Oh no, I can just play Forest. Right? Yeah, I can play Forest. So Tef, uptick, Forest, Grazer, put in the Valakut, save the fetch in case I find Omnath. Have an Iteration. That's almost certainly going to find Delirium, right? Yep. We got some good draws. BTL's a good draw, Omnath a good draw, Dryad's a good draw. Verdict is a good draw. What else is a good draw? I don't know. That's some good draws. So we're going to bolt the Grazer and then kill Tef. They have a land that can also dash Ragavan. They could go like kill Tef, Ragavan at B, play Shadow off the treasure. Dryad and BTL are certainly my 2 best draws because they just end the game on the spot. Although they might hold up mana for Drown. Yeah, that might be what they're doing. But if they hold up mana for Drown, I can like double ending these. Might be okay. This mix sounds way too familiar. It's a radio station on Spotify. Okay, they're not holding up Drown. That's good for me. BTL or Dryad, please. BTL or Dryad, please. That is neither a BTL or a Dryad. So I can shock to 11, kill these 2, and they have 5 damage. I don't really have a choice, right? Is it better to kill the Ragavan? No, I don't think so. Yeah, Dryad would have killed them. Dryad and BTL both killed them. Ragavan hit a land, which is good because I didn't want to draw a land. I don't think they have Drown either, because if they had Drown, they almost would have certainly just held up Drown rather than play 2 more creatures last turn, so... Alright, it's a good draw. Green, red, blue, white. It is a good draw. Did they draw the drown? Seems like they drew the drown. Alright, you win. Yeah, they must have drawn that. Because they definitely would have held it up last turn rather than play 2 creatures. Alright, so against Shadow, we're going to bring in Chalice, Veil of Summer. I actually don't really like Endurance or Dispute, I think. There's also not that many cards you want to cut. I think Grazer is... See, it's kind of awkward. Like, Grazer is good against Ragavan, but it's also horrendous against their discard spells. Like, this is what I did before. I trimmed a BTL and cut the Grazers. I don't know if that's right, though. Does that look right? That's what I was doing. It does feel kind of weird to board out Grazer against Ragavan, but it's just so bad against Thoughtseize. I think I'm going to go with this. Shave on the BTL stuff. I mean, you need to keep the Scapeshift. The Verdict is still really good. Those are the only one-ofs, right? And they're both just good to draw. I think you could make an argument to, like, shave Dryad in these matchups. But I don't know, just, like, on low resources, naturally drawing a Dryad into Valakut seems pretty good. So, like, as bad as Dryad is against removal spells like Heat and stuff, I think it definitely has applications. Because you have 4 Valakuts, right? So... Tilt. Tilt, tilt, tilt. Alright, give me a Chalice or an Ending. Chalice or an Ending. It's not the worst, but not the best. I was looking for that. I was looking for that. Sedge. Cool thing is we don't have a third fetch land, so I can play Teferi or Dryad through a Drown in the Lock. Unless they have... You know, they can't have Discard Spell plus Hold Up Drown, so... Let's get Ketria. Let's see. Let's see what we draw. Sabai Triome, huh? I think I'm just going to go Dryad Land. Just because I have the extra land drop this turn, and they can't drown this. Dust? Go. I don't know if these decks play Gust, but... I don't think they do. I mean, I'll take my 2-for-1, right? I don't have any lands in my hand anyways. I'll take my 2-for-1. I know it's gonna die, but... kind of okay with that. Like, I don't have lands to make the Dryad good anyways. I have perfect mana, so I don't really care about the Dryad that much. Also, if this makes it so they, like, kill the Dryad and then overextend into the Verdict, it's even better for me. If they K-Command, I'll just discard Teferi, not a big deal. Seems like they have K-Command. Alright, I will discard a Teferi. It's pretty good, huh? Let's go with that. Green, red, blue, white. They might have a heat, but I'll still get my 2/4 out of it. Again, just going to be up a card. Looks like they have a heat. Alright, it's dead. I wouldn't mind drawing a land so I can cast BTL next turn. It's not the best draw, but I get to go Tef with Veil Up if they try to drown my Tef. And if they extend, then I have Verdict, so... Ooh. Very interesting. So if I Tef, they drown, I Veil, bounce their Channeler, they kill Tef. I think I'd rather just Verdict here. Maybe I could have gone Chalice plus Veil. Maybe that's better. It's kind of close. That's fine, because if they go, like, land, hold up, drown, I could just go Chalice with Veil, and that might just be good enough to seal it up. Like, if they just go land, go. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go Tef, bounce the Ragavan, and if I peel a land, I can slam Chalice. Or do I want to Chalice, let them Ragavan hit me for a turn? No, because if I Chalice first, my Veil's turned off, right? This is kind of close, right? Like, if I Chalice, they get to keep the Ragavan, and then if they have Drown next turn for Tef, I can't Tef with Veil Up because my Chalice is in play, right? So I think I'm supposed to Tef minus. Should probably tap blue, white, green. I don't think it matters, but... Alright, give me a land. Land me. Well, I asked for a land, right? I did ask for a land. See, the good thing about this play is now they're incentivized to dash the Ragavan. You know what I mean? Okay, well, that also blows them out. But again, now they're incentivized to dash the Ragavan to kill the Tef, and then I just get the Windmill this Chalice. Yep, they dash, kill Tef, I play Chalice. This game should be pretty close to locked up. I guess they have K-Command for Chalice, but... I could also just BTL for Omnath. Oh, I can BTL Omnath, fetch land, Chalice, and Wrenn. Yeah, this game's just over, right? Green, blue, black, red. Wait. I don't need all 5 colors, but... Black, white, blue, red, green. So get the Omnath. Cast the Omnath. Play fetch. Trigger. Crack fetch. Get... I don't know, whatever. Breeding pool, I guess. Play Wrenn. Uptick Wrenn. Play Chalice. Alright. And I think we're done. I think we are done. Drown the Omnath, don't really care. Plus on here. Cast Bring to Light for Scapeshift. I have enough mountains. How many mountains are in my deck? Hold on. I need to do a quick mountain check. 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 9 mountains, which means I have 5 in my deck, which is 15 damage. That's enough, right? Black, white, blue, red, green. Done. Omnath control postboard, yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 5 mountains and a Valakut. Keeping a mountain in play. Valakut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, no, no. Alright, game number 3. Game number 3. Alright. That went pretty well. I would say that went pretty well. Turns out just being 4-color shitters is still pretty good. Yeah. 4-color shitters, you'll eventually draw your Scapeshifts. Just like lowering the curve. I don't know. Dryad does seem kind of awkward in this matchup. Would you rather have... Is there anything in our sideboard that you think you'd rather have than Dryad? I'm still not the biggest fan of Grazer. It is better on the draw, because you have an extra card when you're on the draw. So Grazer is better on the draw. And Dryad is probably a little bit worse on the draw, because it's slower. It's possibly on the Fury. I can't really afford to ever 2-for-1 myself for the Fury, though. I mean, BTL for Fury is not bad, but... This is tough. I want these Grazers, but I don't know. Maybe I just do, like, one Miser's Grazer on the draw. Let's do that. I don't know. It's scientifically proven that one Grazer is the correct number. I know for a fact it's going to be in my opening hand. It's going to be shit. Sand's really slow. Sand is really slow. Slow. They kept 7. I think I can't really keep this hand against a 7. Yeah, I'm going to ship it. Alright, this isn't much better, but I think it's better. Can put back one of the Triomes, so I don't have 3 tap lands. Maybe the Valakut, because I cut a Dryad. Yeah, I'll just put back the Valakut. This hand at least has an answer to it, a creature. It's not a good answer, but it's an answer. It's not a prismatic ending. Okay, let's lead on Ketria Triome. I'm going to lead on non-fetches so I can make sure I don't get drowned early on. Like, I can just curve Wrenn into Teferi without getting drowned. Even if they have a discard spell. Well, I guess if they have a discard spell, they're just going to take the Wrenn, but... I think I'm happier to see Channeler on one than Ragavan with this hand. Could have Spell Pierce. Can't do anything about it. I have to play my cards. Don't Spell Pierce me, bro. Alright, did not get Spell Pierced. That's good. So they're gonna heat the Wrenn. Sure. Do they have, like, Heat Bolt to Ultra Mega Punish me? No. Okay, good. I am fine with that exchange. Especially if they just cast Iteration. They're gonna Wrenn, or they're gonna Ragavan, excuse me? Okay. No discard spell would be nice, so I can slam this to Teferi. Start upticking. One Dryad down. We're gonna have to keep note of that because we did board one out, so we only have 2 Dryads left right now. But again, I don't know how often these games come down to just natural Dryad anyways, but... Probably want to save the fetch lands for Omnath purposes. No Spell Pierce, please. No Spell Pierce, that's good. I could have minus on the token, but I don't get the draw card because they just sack the token. And then if I do that, they just sack token, dash, kill Teferi, so... And as long as they don't find lands, they might, like, not be able to attack Teferi. Yeah, so they're attacking me, which is really good. I can't cast that. They could have an iteration here. Just pick up Rag. Think I'm just going to I'm just going to keep upticking, right? They can dash the Ragavan again. So what are they missing for Delirium? They have creature instant land, so they're missing sorcery artifacts. I think I'm still just going to go plus play Valakut and then just cycle the Triome EOT. Possible I wanted to play a Heath, so if I cycle into Prismatic Ending, I could cast it. But okay, that's fine. So that is the fourth type. If they hit Heat, they can kill Teferi. So if they hit like Heat and then hold up Drown, that would kind of suck. So we just gotta hope to dodge Heat here. I think if we don't get heated, I'm probably gonna go for Valki. Well, I can just hold it up, right? I could just Valki EOT. See what they do. We hit a Channeler. Okay, Channeler Heat. Channeler Heat would suck. Looks like they have Heat. Alpine Moon. That I am totally fine with. That does not concern me. That does not concern me. They're going to name Valakut. I can eventually deal with this at my leisure. Alright, cycle this. Prismatic Ending and another BTL. So what I can do is I can Tef bounce the Alpine Moon. No, that doesn't work, right? I was going to say I can BTL for Omnath into Fetchland, but no, that doesn't work. I can Tef bounce the Alpine Moon, land BTL into Dryad, and then play Fetch, kill this. Or I could just go... I think I'm in for murdering the DRC now. I mean, I kind of want to save the ending for Moon, because, like, if I take the Dryad line, they're almost required to replay the Moon, right? And I still have the Tef in play. Like, worst case scenario, they go, like, Moon, Bolt, Tef, then I just go untap, ending Alpine Moon, and kill it with Scapeshift, right? I think I actually like that line a lot. I'm going to bounce this. I think I actually like this line a lot. Can even save the fetch land now. So now we go blue, white, red, green, this. Get Dr. Yad. Play land. Kill Dryad. And then just pass. I think I like that line. Because they're so choked on mana, and they have to replay the Alpine Moon this turn. That's a requirement, you know? They can't just, like, not play the Alpine Moon, or they're just 100% dead, you know? I guess worst case is Alpine Moon. So going to drown the Dryad and play Alpine Moon. Alright, I'm not going to fetch. Because if they cast Moon, they just lose. So we just BTL Scapeshift. Yeah, they're super choked on mana. Just casting Ragavan? Sure. Alright, tick. Play Heath. Red, white, blue, green, this. Done. Get the Scapeshifts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I have enough mountains? Yep, that's right. Because I have 9 total, which is 1, 2, 3, so I have 6 left. I guess I only need 5. We'll just make sure I have the... I guess I'll keep this one. Just to make sure I have enough. I mean, I know I have enough, but... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. They just wanted to make sure I had enough mountains. Cool. Got the GGs. 2-0, chat. Tron is a myth. Let's do this one. Go. No one has a mono blue Tron matchup that's favored. It's the real end boss. Oh yeah, for sure. Tron is the end boss. Blue Tron specifically. See the It's Tuesday Funny or Die bit? I don't think I've seen that one. Get a link? I'll take a look. I'm gonna get Temple Garden. No, that was bad, because this doesn't cast Expressive Iteration. Should have got Sacred Foundry. Yeah, this should have been Sacred Foundry, 100%. It's a little out of nowhere. It says this video may be inappropriate for some users. Alright, whatever. Oh, it's 3 minutes. I'll watch it after. What we got? Repeal the Wrenn and 6. Okay. Excuse me, interesting. Alright, we'll get the Sacred Foundry now. Play the Misty. Next turn I can go Iteration and Wrenn. Potentially make both my land drops. They played the mine. They had a map. Mana. Dismember. Sure. I have been dismembered. We're gonna hold up counter magic. Seems like. Relic of Progenitus. Exile the Dryad. So I actually don't want to crack this fetch. Because I kind of want to make sure I have a fetch in my graveyard. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. I can just do that now. Yeah, now I can just go ending, they pop it, then I can go crack this, and get it back, yada yada. Perfect. Perfect, chat. I'm not going to cast the Iteration here, because I want to get full value out of it, so... Could BTL next turn. We'll see what happens. Now I'll crack this fetch. You know, it's kind of awkward. Misty Rainforest doesn't fetch Savai Triome. So if I wanted to get a black source here, I just can't. Not that I need a black source, but just saying. Just something worth noting. I'm going to keep the mountains in my deck just in case I need to manual Valakut them. Like, I only have 9 mountains in my deck, so I really want to make sure I keep enough in my deck. Grazer's kind of a bad draw. I don't necessarily want to just tap out for BTL into all this mana. So I think maybe I'll try to bait with Iteration. See if they bite. Then maybe they'll just, like, tap out for a Wurmcoil next turn. Okay, bunch of bricks. I guess I'll put the BTL in my hand. I've run an Overgrown Tomb in the past. I'd probably play it over the Breeding Pool. Yeah, that makes sense. Having an untapped black source is pretty important, too, because, like, if you're on 6 lands and don't have a black source in play and you just draw the Valki, it's super awkward, you know? I could definitely see situations like that where it's really bad. Just gonna pass. Yeah, that was an awkward iteration. Like, the 2 endings in 1 good card. It was pretty awkward. Hopefully they just tap out and die next turn. That'd be cool if they just did that. Looks like they have Tron now. How scary is Tron? And they have 7 mana. They now don't have blue mana, so they're dead, right? What's this? 7 mana. That I do not care about. Seems like they're dead. Never played BTL Storm? Well, you can't do that. Because the second BTL doesn't get to cascade into anything. So it doesn't actually work, right? Alright, white, blue, green, red, this. Done. Scapeshifts. I'll guess Scapeshifts. Yeah, because when you converge off of the one you're casting off the BTL and you converge, it doesn't actually check anything because there was no color spent to cast it, you know? I have exactly enough mountains in my deck. That's poggers. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, no. Upstairs. Upstairs. This deck's easy mode, huh? What are this deck's bad matchups? You know? Does this deck have bad matchups? Just hashtag no bad matchups? I don't know if Dispute's actually good against them. It is good against their counterspells when they don't have Tron, but... see, I kind of want to keep an ending. Maybe I cut the Gracers. Teferi's actually good against this Tron variant because they have counterspells. Maybe I trim an ending and bring in 2 Disputes. Yeah, Blood Moon's probably bad, right? Yeah. Vashel, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Chat, don't forget if you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free sub per month, so always make sure you are checking your Amazon Prime. Thank you so much for the Prime sub. We having a good day today? Blood Control might be a bad matchup. Yeah, because Teferi's kind of rough against BTL, but I don't know, you have some good measures against Teferi, right? Sort of. Yeah, Rhino's probably not a great matchup. I mean, you have Verdict, though. You have BTL Verdicts. But I guess the problem is your BTL's never resolving against Rhinos. They foretold a card? Jesus. That's scary. I don't want to know what that is. Any guesses, chat? It's probably the counterspell, right? Oh. Yeah, I'll counter that. Why are Bluetron players the way they are? A good question. They don't have a land? Let's freaking go. That was a bad land to get it. I always get... Yeah, because now if I draw Iteration, I can't play it. Alright, whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't like fetching mountains early, which is why I didn't want to get a Triome, but... I'm just countering this, right? I'm just gonna aggressively fight over mana, because I can. They might counter back, but... Okay. Omnath time. This game should be over, right? White, blue, green, red. Your turn. Is it Tibalt time? Can I get some exclamation point Tibalts in the chat? Cyclonic Rift my Omnath. Okay. Cast it again. Red, white, green, blue. You could have Dismember, I guess, but... Island. Tibalt you. Done. Man, I miss casting Tibalt. I miss casting Tibalt. Plus. Go. We hit the Wormcoil Legend. Let's go! Man. Tibalt is... Tibalt brings back good memories. Maybe not for everybody else, but Tibalt brings back good memories for me. I'm just saying. You know. That's just my humble opinion. Alright, let's play this Misty. Do that. I'm surprised they're still playing. How much mana do I have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can go BTL into Behold. Or I could just go Behold Wormcoil Engine. Just did that. Let's just do that. I would like to draw 2 cards. Would you like to counter this? Remand. Oh no. I don't know. I probably could have cast BTL there, but missed the days of Charlos into Tybalt. Yeah, see, I miss those days too. I'm just saying, you know, bring back. Can we have our old friend Tybalt back? The way that Garfield intended. That's all I want. I just want them to. I just want to go back to Tybalt. Pour one out for Mr. Tybalt. All right, ult. We're still playing? All right. I guess we could still be playing. We're kind of not playing though, right? Let me have they're letting me have my fun, which is nice. I approve of that. All right, so I'm gonna BTL for blue, white, green, whatever. Done. I'm gonna get Dryad and then cast the other one. Blue, red, green, white, black. Done. I'm just kind of clicking buttons at random now. They've conceded from the game. They should have just erratic Cascade to go into greater converted mana costs. This hand is really risky. This hand is really risky. I do have turn 1 Grazer into Valakut and a Prismatic Ending. But I don't have a third land. What do you think, chat? I got two draws at a third land. I'm going to keep it. It's really risky, and I understand that, but it's super high upside. They're standalone events. Easy. Did you really think I wasn't going to draw it? Like, come on. Come on, chat. Did you really think I wasn't going to draw the best possible? Sing my love as a weapon. Your ears are starting to fold in from wrestling. I didn't know you did wrestling. Ooh, mirror match, maybe? Do I pending tap land, or do I Dryad tap land? Dude, I'm so close to this Dryad Valakut. But, like, if I Dryad and they just pending the Dryad, it's pretty bad, right? I think I'm just going to pending the Wrenn and 6. I want to try and get something out of the... I wanted to attack them, but I don't know. They might have Ragavan. What's this? Hoping starting as wants to have position of director. Oh, really? That's exciting news. I'm gonna give that post a like. That is very exciting news. That is very exciting news. Congratulations, Huey. That's really good for all parties. They didn't fetch a White Saurus. I don't want to yam this Dryad now. Just yam the Dryad, don't play the iteration. Because it's really nice to resolve the Dryad if they don't have white mana, and they didn't get, like, I think if they were playing white in their deck, they would have probably got a Rogran Triumph that turn, right? So I just don't think they have white mana, and it's pretty hard for their Teamer deck to kill a Dryad, right? I don't know, it could be the mirror, but if it was the mirror, they would have got a Rogran Triumph there, right? Like, in what world where they wouldn't get a Rogran Triumph? So, I'm worried about the Dryad into Prismatic Ending, but I'm just not convinced they have ending in their deck. So, might be kind of a spew, but I think it's fine. And save the fetches. I mean, if they don't kill the Dryad, the game's almost certainly over. Could be creativity. True. That's a good point. Could be creativity. Even creativity would have probably fetched a white source there, right? Unless they're trying to bait me into playing, like, thinking they don't have white mana. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess they could just do that, too. Which kind of stinks, but, I mean, we have the iteration, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah, I forgot they could just Wrenn plus Bolt. That might have been a bad play. Oh. Well, I guess we're doing that instead. Get Breeding Pool, I think. Oops. White, red, blue, green. Okay, so play that. Crack this fetch. We get to kill the Wrenn and 6 too. That's disgusting. I'm just gonna get a planes, cast the iteration. A bunch of bricks. I guess we'll put the Misty... Have I played a land this turn? I have, right? Turn 4, cracked Flooded Strand, played Omnath. Yeah, I played the Heath, okay. So I'm going to put the Grazer in exile, and I kind of want the Valakut. No, I'd rather just have the Misty in play. So let's go hand Misty, bottom this, exile this. And then I can go play the Grazer, put the Misty into play, get the third trigger. Yeah, this is the best way to do it, I think. All right, we get to hold we get to hold 2 fetch lands now for the Omnath, which is really good. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Cycle Forgotten Cave. Maybe they're playing the Teamer Slowgurk deck. That could be, right? It's possible I should have fetched more mountains to try and manual Valakut, but... Slowgurk confirmed. I mean, I think this is fine. They are 4-0 with Slowgurk. They are 4-0 with Slowgurk. I'll take a Teferi, please. When will WotC print Fast Gurk? Will they print Medium Speed Gurk? They're at 10. And I have effectively 4 mountains. I mean, I'm not going to cast the Verdict here. Question is, do I want to crack 2 fetch lands just to dome them? I still get to keep a fetch in play, so I think it's fine. And I think it's better to do it now, because I have to crack 1 less fetch land. Like, if I wait till their turn and they go to kill the Omnath, then I have to crack an additional fetch land. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, the thinning is whatever, right? But... it's more so now if I draw a fetch land, I could dome them for another 4, which puts them to 2, but I guess 2 is still not lethal. Although, I'm getting close. I now have 4 mountains in play to manual Valakut them, so... if I draw, like, back-to-back fetch lands, that's another mountain for Valakut, so... cracking them is definitely worse if I draw a Dryad, though. So that's the concern. They revealed a Slowgurk. Okay. Legendary, by the way. I mean, they might as well cast it, right? Keep the big one and then get the Forgotten Cave back. It's just kind of a free roll. They still can't really attack, though, right? I mean, I guess they can maybe send the Slowgurk, but... they're attacking with Bloodbraid Elf? Right, I'll just chump block with Grazer, right? I don't want to block in case they have Bolt. Block with Omnath. Okay, so... I could cast the Verdict. I don't think I need to cast the Verdict this turn, though. So I think I'm just going to go Misty, crack both fetches, get 2 more mountains, and then any land is lethal, because I now have 5 mountains, right? Yeah, so any fetch land is lethal now. I don't think I have to cast the Verdict. I'm at 22, and I have 2 blockers, so... So now there's not really many bad draws in my deck. I mean, I guess Valakut's a bad draw. Dryad. I guess Dryad's not a good draw because I don't have any extra land drops left over. But, like, Teferi is a good draw. Red and 6 is lethal. Any fetch land is lethal. Iteration's probably lethal. Get a lot of good draws. Okay. I can also just basically time walk them with the Verdict, right? I could just, like, I could even call this turn, block the Bloodbraid Elf. If they bolt the Omnath, I just don't care, because then I just Verdict, and it buys me infinite time. So, this game should be pretty close to locked up. Yeah, I'm going to call this turn, because I don't really care if they kill it. My Omnath has done its job. Have I tried a Battle of Wits deck before? The only time I've played Battle of Wits was during the modern... They did like that modern... I forget what it was called, but they had a Battle of Wits deck in that queue. I played a little bit of Battle of Wits there, but... Okay, white... This... Blue still have the mana to cast Verdict. Just minus on nothing. Maybe plussing was better, because then I could have held up the Verdict. I'm trying to land to kill them, but... Alright. White, blue, this. I'm going to hold this in case I draw another Omnath. Oh, sure, they get back the Slowgurk. Whatever, it's fine. Copium, it's fine. Yeah, I probably should have just plus Def there, instead of trying to go for the land. That's true. That also kills if I find a Dryad now. So Dryad's also lethal now. Medium speed Gurk. Lightning speed Gurk. Wow, I had not considered that. Pyromancer discarding lands to turn on to pump Slowgurk, that's kind of hot. Standard through the ages, that's what it was, yeah. So they did Dredge Loam. I guess if we brick, there's a chance we die, right? There's definitely a chance we die if we brick. Yeah, I think I messed up. I think I should have plus last turn. I don't know if it would have changed anything, because I was still going to have to cast the Verdict, but... Alright, well, we won. Easy, chat. Easy. 2 free for the bean. Just had it all. Yeah, I think this is similar to what Canister was playing yesterday. I know Canister, it was for a donation deck, but I think he just copied the 5-0 League Dump list. Alright, what do we want against Slowgurk Seismic Assault? Not really sure. Maybe Unmoored Ego? Maybe Endurance? I think Force of Vigor is not great, because they only have Assault as a target. And I had Prismatic Ending anyways. I think Fury is kind of bad. Anger seems kind of medium against Slowgurk, because it just grows a little bit bigger. And the Anger's good against the rest of their stuff, right? They have Ragavan, Mana Dorks, Bloodbraid Elf, Season Pyromancer, so maybe Anger is good. Yeah, I don't want Dispute, because their only blue card is the Fast Gurk, yeah. Teferi does not seem great. I think Teferi is the card I want to cut the most. I mean, they have blue mana, so they could board in counter spells, but Everything else is pretty good, right? Like Razor blocks Ragavan. What if I just did this? Cut Tefs, bring in these 4. The Ashiok is Tormod scripts. We're here main decking the board wipe. This isn't the Rhinos list. This is just BTL Scapeshift. This is what we call boring BTL. We're going to be getting to the Rhinos half of things later, but maybe the second Endurance is bad. Maybe I just go split Endurance and Ashiok, because Ashiok is probably more higher impact, and I can still BTL for Endurance to like stop alone. I think this is good. Endurance blocks Bloodbraid. That is true. It also blocks Ragavan, and we're on the draw, so maybe having the blocker is more important than Ashiok. Maybe Ashiok is better on the play. I could see that. Endurance is kind of awkward against Slowgurk, right, though? Like, if they just have a pile of lands in their graveyard and you Endurance them, it just... Oh, no, it's the other way around, right? It's not when a land leaves your graveyard, it's whenever a land goes into your graveyard. Okay, never mind. Yeah, that's fine, then. This hand's cracked. Keep. This hand is really good. Ignoble Hierarch. So I'm going to lead on Temple Garden. So that way I can go Grazer Tapland next turn. Yeah, Ashiok can like mess up some fetches when you're in the play. And they have a lot of fetch lands, right? Because they're a Slowgurk loam deck. So they probably have an abundance of fetch lands. Okay, just kill that. We'll just kill that. Does make things a little sketchy if they have a Slowgurk, because now I don't have a removal spell for Slowgurk, but I think it's fine. Just hope they don't have the Gurk. Rage, no Gurk. Alright, we dodged the Gurk. Alright, I drew the BTL, which means I'm definitely going to put this into play tapped. I was considering holding the Triumph to cycle, but now I'm definitely just going to do it this way. Just slam BTL next turn. Is Molten playing Seismic Assault 2? Is Slugger Seismic Assault list in the current? Yes, they are playing. I think they're playing that exact same list. Or something very similar to it, Cosmo. Alright, bunch of cycle lands. Hopefully they just play Bloodbraid Elf. And then we can just Tibalt them. Is it Tibalt time? I think it's Tibalt time. What's up, Vinny? How you doing, buddy? How you living? Oh. Did not expect that. Alright, well, we're dead. Did not expect that. Alright, well, we get to go to game 3 at least. Corey wants some fat clouds. Let me fill up the tank first. I always get better clouds when I fill up the tank. Did not know they played Blood Moon in their Teamer deck. We know for game 3. Thank you, Fire Breathing Hamster. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Wrenn and 6. Okay, well, if we draw a forest, we're back in it. I only have one basic forest, but I now know to fetch basic lands. To be fair, I only drew one fetch land this game, so I still probably would have been fucked. Thank you, always drawing cards. Thank you. Appreciate all the support, guys. Start the new job next Monday. Next Monday is when the new schedule begins. Yeah, exactly, you know. I think in the long run, it'll make the content better. Even though there's going to be less content, because I'm going to be streaming a little bit less during the day, I think it's going to be good for the content, like for the overall, you know, health of the stream in the long run. Going to be less content, but I think it's going to be better. All right. Yeah, we'll go to game 3. I don't have to wear a suit now. I do not have to wear a suit. Okay, well, Force of Vigor is definitely coming in. I think these Endurances are just kind of whatever. I don't really care about their graveyard that much. Yeah, let's do that. It's mostly going to be remote, too. Up until a certain point. Like, even when we go back to the office, it's not fully... We're not going to be fully, like, commuting. It's going to be, like, on and off. I think we're doing, like, 1 or 2 days in the office during the week, if even that, but... If I understand correctly, you should hold on to Dryad games... Game 3 to play it after a Blood Moon. Yeah. No, that is correct, Avalonians. That's how it works. If I play Dryad after the Blood Moon, then all of my lands are all colors, or all types. If Dryad is in play and then Blood Moon comes into play, the basics, like your basic lands are all types, but your non-basics are mountains. I'm going to be the technical title is Mortgage Loan Servicing. So we're going to be working on the back end of like mortgage loans after the processors and stuff like that. It's doing maintenance, and it's good because I've always wanted to explore that field, because, you know, I'm at the age where I need to think about buying a house maybe a year or 2 down the road, so that, you know, I get to learn about the processes with that stuff, you know, get a better idea, and, you know. Force BTL all lands. I'm gonna keep it. It's kind of a loose keep, but... I'm 31. I'm an old man. Can I has a house, please? Unclear. Okay, well, I have 2 basics, which means I can let them have Blood Moon for a turn or 2, but I assume they kind of just mulligan aggressively. If I'm 31, where's my Lily Out of the Veil? In the trade binder. Kind of hope they cast Blood Moon here, TBH, because they don't know about the island, and I can slow roll it too. Alright, they're not casting Blood Moon. Sure. Drawing this is kind of awkward, but... Okay. Good draw. I think I have to kill the Ragavan, right? This is tough. Kill Ragavan or Wrenn? Four cards in their hand? Very, very tough. I feel like the Wrenn and Teferi might be more high impact. Because I can maybe just take a couple Ragavan hits and play Bring to Light a couple turns down the road. Yeah, I think I'm going to kill the Wrenn and Teferi. It's really close, though. It's really close. I guess, I mean, obviously if I kill either one, if they have a second one, it doesn't matter, but... Yeah, if I draw like a Grazer or a Dryad, the Ragavan is much less of an issue, so... I think this makes sense. Oh, that's also true, because they have the Exalted trigger. It's a good point. Doesn't beat Dryad, though. I think I have to fetch now so they don't hit my basic forest. Because I need this basic forest. We hope they don't hit the plains. Please don't hit my basic plains. Oh. That's also really bad. Oh, fuck. Oh my god, I didn't even have to cast it. Oh, that's disgusting. They're just gonna cast turn 3 Bring to Light. God! Oh, man. That's gross. That is gross. They have all 5 colors? Oh yeah, they have white too. They have white, black. They don't really play 5 drops though, right? They can't get a Blood Moon, which is good. Thankfully, they can't get a Blood Moon. They can get a slow Gurk. But can they get a fast Gurk? That's the question. Can they get a fast Gurk? They can get a Bloodbraid Elf. They can find a medium paced Gurk. Yeah, they can get Bloodbraid Elf, which could hit Blood Moon. Oh, or they just have the Blood Moon. Alright, I need a green card. I need a green card. It's really awkward that I drew this Valki, because I really wanted to BTL for the Valki, but... Okay, that kind of works. Reptar, thank you for the 18 months. That is a long time. Really appreciate that. Said bad pun unsubbing now. Well, I had you hooked for a little while, but, you know, all good things must come to an end. So this was just perfects, right? Just stone cold perfects. Just doesn't get any better than that. Just like the actual factual stone cold perfects. Yeah. And I get to put the green card in my hand. Just doesn't get any better than that. Alright, bolt the Wrenn, that's fine. I hope they play a Seismic Assault this turn, because I'd really like to get a second enchantment for this force. Please play a Seismic Assault. Yes! Let's go! Let's freaking go! I mean, it is awkward that I don't have the Valki in my deck, but we should still be fine. I think we'll make do, chat. All right, force and response. See ya. See ya. Question is, what are we BTLing for? Maybe just Omnath. So they have 3 lands in their hand. Tarn, Triome. Tarn, Triome. Played a Tarn. What else to get other than Omnath? Yeah, that's the thing, is there's really not much else, right? Like Dryad, maybe, but I'll just get Omnath, I think. Red, white, this, done. We could take a look and see if there's anything else, but... Could get... Unmoored Ego and name Loam, but... I don't know, that's kind of bad. Do I really care about the Loam? It's like, the Loam is so slow, because their cycle land is Triome, which is like, Loam plus Triome is their entire turn. If they had a cycle, like a 1-mana cycle land, maybe it's a different story, but... I'm just gonna get Omnath. Yeah, if this was in my deck, I would just 100% get it. It'd just be so easy, but... Drawing this was super awkward. Should this deck play 2 Valkis? No, there's also no untapped black. That's the other issue. The only black source is Sabai Triome, which I think is a mistake. I think there has to be an Overgrown Tomb. Another BTL is lethal, though. Oh, that's true. Yeah, Dryad gives me black mana, so that's also a good point. They still have 3 lands in their hands, so... Alright, let's go... can go 1, 2... Do I even expose the Dryad here? I mean, I guess they're just going to dredge anyways, right? Yeah, I'll play the Dryad. just going to go uptick, get back, fetch, play fetch, and then ship it. They're also just close to dead, right? They're also at 9. Yeah, we should be good. We should be good. What's this? Bloodbraid Elf. Uh-oh. They revealed Seismic Assault. Okay. Maybe we're no longer good. That's pretty bad for us. That is pretty bad for us. I hope they're attacking Wrenn, because I don't care. I have another Wrenn. I'm just going to let that die. That is pretty bad for us. And we know they have 3 lands in their hand, right? They can't kill both of these. So I guess the good news... Oh, God, this is going to be tough now. Yeah, that was so perfect. Even if it was just, like, Seismic Assault into it, I would have kept the red in play. But yeah, that was just, like, stone cold perfects. That is kind of gross. Kind of gross. So I have to crack my fetch. I should have maybe cracked my fetch before this, but... Alright. So I'm going to kill the Omnath. But then I can play Valki. I don't know if Valki's good enough, though, right? Because I have to shock twice to cast the Valki. Oh, no, I can't play the Valki. I have no mana. Wow, I'm actually going to lose this game. That's wild. Alright, guess get Breeding Pool. Wow. Sick game. Absolutely sick game. Did not think I could possibly lose this game. I could still drop BTL, but... Did not think we would be in this position. We'll do BTL Rhinos after. We're going to try out the Orion build. Do I have to chump block? No, they're attacking Wrenn. I don't care about Wrenn. Alright, BTL chat. BTL or Scapeshifts? I only have 1 BTL left, so I have 2 outs. Well, it does, but they're just going to kill the Dryad. Right? Like, I could cast the Valki, but I can't because they're just going to kill the Dryad, and my only black source is Savai Triumph, which Misty can't even fetch. So I literally just can't. I can't cast the Tibalt next turn. Because my mana base sucks. Okay. Probably doesn't do enough because they still have 2 lands in their hand, but... Can maybe buy myself another turn? Okay. If they go to kill it now, I'm just going to crack the fetch. Just to gain my life. I could shock in case I draw exactly Teferi, but I think I need the life more than the potential of casting Teferi. Okay, play a blocker. Go. Done. We're buying turns. Could also find Prismatic Ending. That'd be good. We're definitely buying turns. Yeah, it draws towards Scapeshift. I only have 2 outs because I only have 1 Bring to Light left. So I have 1 Bring to Light, 1 Scapeshift that are lethal. And we know they don't have a counterspell because they just kept loaming. Let's go! Chat, we're 4-0. Do I have enough mountains? I gotta do a mountain check. Mountains in graveyard, 0. And I have 3 in play, so I have 6 in my deck. Alright, well they're at 9 anyways, I only need 3, but... Whew! Crazy game. Crazy game. Crazy game. Just had it all along. Love to see it. 5, 6. I don't know. I'm just going to make sure, just in case, I'm going to keep a mountain in play. I don't think I need to keep a mountain in play, but you never know. I'll just in case. I think I have enough. I could get all 6, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Oh boy, crazy, crazy game. Slow clap. Slow clap or slow gurk? Slow clap or slow gurk? It's prediction time. First league of the stream prediction time? This hand's dope. Holy shit, this hand's cracked. This hand is cracked. Fetch land, Grazer, Wrenn and 6. Can't ask for much more. I'll take a Dryad off the top. If I draw a Dryad, I think this hand is perfect. I'm going to go Temple Garden Steam Vents. Because I can't go Breeding Pool Sacred Foundry, because this can't get Sacred Foundry. So yeah, Temple Garden Steam Vents. Yeah, classic Mox Diamond. Did you know that Mox Diamond is legal in Modern? It's also an 0-3. Oh. This is Amulet, though. Yeah, this is Amulet. How good's our Amulet matchup? Yeah, this draw... I kind of wanted to find a land, because if I drew a land, I would have just bounced the Saga, which I guess I can maybe still do next turn, but... Unfortunately, don't have a land to do it this turn. I'm not going to ending this. Stupid. Maybe something like this for your version can make the aggro matchup a lot better. Wrenn, Tef, Valki, Grazer, Dryad, Omnath, Fury, Solitude. Yeah, so basically you added Growth, Fury, Solitude, and then up the numbers on Grazer. And yeah, this looks pretty good. I actually like that. 35 lands. I think that looks good, Def Chad. I think I could buy that. I don't actually start the job until next Monday. I actually have to go pick up all of my my work stuff. Because they're going to give me a computer. Alright, so I'm going to get Jeskai Triome. Is there another pending? Okay, so I can go pending the map, Tef bounce the Saga. I think I like that, right? Pending this, get back land, Tef bounce Saga. It just like puts them back the most resources. Yeah, let's do that. And I can fetch a... I can get a basic here. Take less damage. So it's pending that. Let's crack a fetch. I think just get an island. I think island's fine. Red, white, blue. Bounce Saga. Go. Yeah, this is looking pretty good, huh? Any plans on playing the Bosch Blood Moon list? The Bosch Blood Moon list. You mean the Obosh Prowess deck? Yeah, I have a couple YouTube videos on that. Tef uptick ending the Amulet is a line as well. The problem with that line, Panda, is they get a bounce land trigger before I have an opportunity to kill the Amulet. Because, like, you know what I mean? Like, they get the Amulet in play, they get priority, and then they get the bounce land trigger. I don't know if it matters as much, but... Because that was a line as well. Okay, they have 2 cards in their hands. What if I BTL for Dryad, and then play my extra land and pending the Amulet? I think I like that line, right? Because that gets the Dryad in play. Right? And then next turn I just have the Dryad in play with the BTL. And even if they kill the Dryad, I have 7 lands. Because I can go Wrenn ping them and have 7 lands for BTL. I think I like that line a lot. So let's go Stomping Ground, untapped. Blue, green, white, red, this. BTL for Dryad, play land. Yeah, that's perfect. And then ending the Amulet. I could wait till their turn, but I don't know. I'm just going to do it now. Because I know I'm going to do it anyways. I don't want to give them a trigger with the Amulet, so. And it's your turn. Thank you, Braden. Appreciate the kind words. Thank you, thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited because, you know, I get to do some stuff during the day, and I enjoyed, like, it's a lot of the same stuff that I was doing before, and I did enjoy that stuff for the most part. And again, I think that the content overall is going to be a lot better, just because I'm gonna be doing different stuff throughout the day, right? And it's not like my entire focus is going to be on Magic, so I think overall the content's going to be a lot better, and I think I'm going to enjoy myself a lot more. They've conceded from the game. Braided MTG, thank you for the 4 months. Says, also, I love this deck. Smile. Thank you for the 4 months, buddy. This deck is fun. We're crushing it, too. We're 4-0 up a game, so. Alright, so what do we want to do against Amulets? Force of Vigor, yep. That's 100% coming in. Veil Endurance, bad. Dispute, bad. Anger Fury, bad. Ashiok, good. How good is Chalice against them? I know it stops Pact, but is that the kind of game we're trying to play? I think I'm going to cut all my Teferis. I think that's the card I want to cut the most. Maybe just bring in the Ego. I kind of want the Crumble, too, though. What would you cut for a Crumble? Maybe the 3rd Grazer? Maybe do something like this? How's that look? Does that make sense? So cut the 4 Tefs and the Grazer, bring in Crumble, Ashiok, Ego, 2 Forces. It looks pretty good, right? I think Tef is definitely my worst card. I don't mind a couple Grazers. As you saw that game, just like the acceleration from Grazer was really good. I think Crumble is bad? What's up, Da Vinci? Why do you not like Crumble in this matchup? You can hit Saga, right? I guess it's going to be too slow against Saga most of the time, right? Especially on the draw. Would you rather have the Grazer? Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll just play the 3rd Grazer instead. Just for more acceleration. I could buy that. Also another green card for Force. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, we also don't really care about the tokens, right? What's up, Toner Chav? Mox Diamond and Life from the Loam at home. Well, our last opponent had Life from the Loam, so. You keep this hand, right? Yeah, you keep this hand. I mean, it doesn't have a Wrenn and 6, but I think it's good enough. What's up, Martyr MTG? How you doing, buddy? We're 4-0 up a game with BTL Scapeshifts in 2021. We have an Explorer. We do have an Explorer. I would like to draw either Wrenn and 6 or Arboreal Grazer. Please. That is neither of those. Okay. Your turn. Well, I kind of would have rather had them lead on Amulet, right? Given my hand. I kind of wanted them to lead on Amulet. Okay, so what's this going to get? It's got Coding. Okay. So now I can go Heath for a Plains, play Dryad, play Land, and then I have 2 white sources to be able to pending the Coding. Right? I guess I have the Dryad in place, so I have white mana anyways, but... This could be a little dicey. Drew too many Omnaths. So I have the Coding. I can kill the Coding this turn. I just need to find lands. Because my lands are going to start dying, but... Okay. Land dead. Land is dead. I guess it's kind of awkward. If I pending their coding, they can just get it with the Karn. Although if I attack Karn for 2, Karn goes to 2, and they can't, if they minus their Karn, dies, so it ends up being a wash, right? I need a land badly, though. I need a land badly. I guess if I find a land, I could also just pending the Karn, which I probably will do, but... Alright, land, please. Chat, I need a land. It's not a land. Alright, we're probably going to game 3 here in just a sec. Probably going to game 3 here in just a sec. I thought my keep was fine. But yeah, now if they minus the Karn for the coding dies, so the coding doesn't do anything. They can get a Wormcoil Engine, but... You know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Keep was slow in the draw versus Amulet. It was slow, for sure. It was slow. I was hoping they would target the fetch. Yeah, that's why I left the fetch uncorrect, so they couldn't do that, but... Just gonna have 6. 28 lands, by the way? Yeah, I know, right? Sorry, we get to be able to play game 3. I feel like this matchup is decent for us, but... Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, Muppet. It's a lot better when you have Vigor. Full house, by the way. Okay, it's probably going to find lands. I don't know if it's too late. Probably is too late, but... Karn's at 3. What they pick up? They return to Gruul Turf. I don't think we have outs, but, you know. I don't believe we have outs. Six green mana. What could that be? I'll probably just pack it into a Titan. Oh, they have another Colossus? What the hell? 9 mana? What is this? Oh, dry it into Titan. Okay, yeah, that's good enough for me. Alright, game 3. Game 3. That will do it for me. Zakama? No, not Zakama. Still think I like the way I sideboarded. Teferi's still bad. Maybe Chalice. Chalice is the only thing I could consider. I really don't like Chalice that much, though. I'm just going to submit it like this. Chalice in the play seems good. I don't know. It's like one of those things that you kind of have to have early. It's okay, but... Oh, this hand's insane, right? Yeah, this hand's really good. Jealous for, what you call it? The thing. The stupid thing. Pact. So it's a question of, do I want to go Breeding Pool into Valakut so I can go Iteration prior to playing land? Or if I want to go Temple Garden Grazer, put in Valakut, and then if I draw land, I can go land, Dryad, land, and save the iteration. I think it's higher upside. Well, actually, no, it's the same thing, right? If I go Misty for Breeding Pool, put in the Valakut, if I draw land, I'm going to make the same play. I'm just going to go Temple Garden, Dryad, land. If I don't draw land, it's a lot better, because then I can play the iteration, right? Well, I'm going to play the Grazer either way. It's a question of, do I do it off a Breeding Pool? But I think it's better to do it off a Breeding Pool, because then I'm, like, splitting the difference, right? If I draw land, great, I can Dryad. If I don't draw land, well, that's fine, because then I can just iteration, right? And this basically splits the difference. Yeah. Deep, deep, deep digs. Alright, drew a land, so Pog. I'm going to save the fetch land, I think, because I have Dryad Valakut. I don't mind taking an extra point of damage. Send him a message. We mean, you know your opponent means business when they attack with Grazer. Choosing not to play a land. Pog. Even drew the ending, just in case I needed it. Do I just take both lands? No, I take Omnath land, right? Yeah, so Omnath to hand, Misty Exile. Pending this. You want to take land there? I don't know. I kind of want the Omnath. We're a little low on gas, but maybe land just kills them fast enough. I only have one Valakut, though. It's kind of close. I think it's pretty close. I think you can make an argument either way. Green, red, white, blue. Doing this before playing my land in case I peel Valakut. Okay, so play land. Upstairs. Always yes. Always yields. Let's crack this. For, I guess, a planes? I don't know if it matters. So I can cast the iteration. Valakut to hand. This exile. This should be lethal, right? Play Dread, play Valakut, play land. I believe this is lethal. Easy clap, chat. Easy clap. Maybe I should make a run for the trophy race, huh? Just saying.